It's Tuesday, August 19th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. Needles and drug paraphernalia are keeping children from using a Dartmouth splash pad. Crews make progress on the Nova Scotia fires and industry resumes in some New Brunswick forests.
While mostly a miss, Hurricane Arson is expected to kick up some big waves by Friday.
Live from our Maritime's News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. In the height of summer, many parents are keeping their children away from what has been a popular Dartmouth splash pad. It's littered with needles and other drug materials. All of this next door to a government-run shelter. CTV's Emma Convey reports.
It's a popular spot for kids on a hot summer's day, but this splash pad in Dartmouth is developing a reputation as a place where dangerous drug paraphernalia is left lying around.
We're cleaning up the park area, all around the area for needles and for garbage, trying to make it a safe place for people to come.
Darlene is one of 3 women living in a nearby shelter and says they have been hired to pick up syringes and other hazardous items in this area.
5 times a week with the safety team, 2 times a day, and with the actual shelter, we do it twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays.
The city says Mainline Needle Exchange does daily sweeps around this park and surrounding area and has security on site from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. But those that use this space say that's not enough.
We pay taxes for these places for children to be able to pay, and they should be able to use them freely without having to worry about needles or pipes.
Just 2 weeks ago, Jillian Fowley says her niece stepped on a broken crack pipe while running down the hill from the splash pad to the swing set.
She called out to her mom saying that her toe hurt, and my stepdaughter called out saying that there was needles around, so my sister-in-law went running down with her shoes. She saw needles, she saw the broken crack pipe.
She reached out to the city and says they told her they're looking into increased security around the park space. Tim Mersesko with the Downtown Dartmouth Business Commission says complaints about needles isn't rare, with this splash pad receiving more concerns this summer than last.
Large encampments attract drug dealers and other kind of criminal activities that prey upon the shelter residents. They're vulnerable to addiction, and so then it creates some criminal elements in the area, and that's what we really want the municipality and the regional police to look after.
For their part, Halifax police were on site this afternoon, removing an empty syringe left in the portable bathroom after security called them to the area. Emma Convey, CTV News, Dartmouth.
Firefighters are making progress on the Long Lakes fire in Annapolis County, but it's still considered out of control. There was no significant growth overnight and no homes lost, but now there's a new concern. CTV's Callum Smith has the latest.
Despite being concerned for their own homes,
we have everything in here ready. But there's pets. You have animals, and I have children, and so it's a scary time.
These 2 Family Matters workers are doing what they do best, helping people in need.
We brought in lots of goodies today: shampoos, deodorants,
conditioner,
soaps, Q-tips, feminine hygiene products, wipes, anything to lighten the load on people right now.
They're helping fill up some tables here, supplies that the Salvation Army is working to get in the hands of evacuees as quickly as possible.
It's been so heartwarming that the community has been so generous and so kind, and you just see offerings of accommodations and people that, how can I help? What is the best way?
They say gift cards are the most urgently needed donation. These volunteer firefighters are getting ready for another long day, logging between 12 and 17 hours each time out.
I'll tell you, they're resilient and they're up for the challenge every day. So I would say they're tired, but they won't tell me that.
It's jobs like creating fire breaks in the woods and setting up sprinklers on homes, hoping to stop the fire from spreading.
It's much better than having nothing. It's something that's working so far so good. Quite well.
They're also watching and preparing for Hurricane Aron's impacts.
Crews are incorporating their control and containment strategies based on those forecasts and what they anticipate in terms of wind shifts this week.
Officials say while the wind has been changing daily, they're making progress, still keeping homes safe, more than 100 of which have been evacuated. Air support and about 140 firefighters are on site, with 40 more expected from across the country over the next couple days. The appreciation for first responders has been felt, with signs like these scattered through the community.
It's heartwarming for us to know that we're making a difference for them, and we don't need the thanks. We're here to do the job.
So from first responders to community organizations and other volunteers, it really is an all-hands-on-deck approach to try to bring some sense of normalcy back to this community as soon as possible. Todd.
Calum Smith in Upper Granville, Nova Scotia this evening. 31 wildfires continue to burn in New Brunswick, with 4 out of control at this hour. They haven't done too much property damage, but have done serious damage to the environment and the forestry industry. As CTV's Avery McRae tells us, some businesses are now allowed to resume work.
It's nearing 2 weeks since the province banned all activities in New Brunswick's forests due to high wildfire risk, and those in the forestry industry are feeling the effects.
We just sort of got up off the floor from a punch in the face with the new anti-dumping fees, and we got punched in the face again with our weather conditions that are making things inoperable for us.
The loss of thousands of hectares of forest due to wildfires in recent weeks translates to around $4 million in lost royalty revenue, according to the province. The losses could balloon further as some mills are running low on timber.
Basically, we live in a world where no production, no pay, and there's no provision to try to help people bridge that gap.
Late this afternoon, Natural Resources Minister John Herron said some businesses will be allowed to resume operations on Crown lands under strict conditions. Tree harvesting will only be allowed between 8 at night and 10 in the morning, and no activity will be permitted in active fire zones.
We will not put New Brunswick families and communities at risk. It is still a very serious situation given the dryness of our forest floor.
The news is welcomed by woodlot owners who always understood the decision to ban activities in the first place.
I own 500 acres of woodland in this province, and it's not insured. You know, that's like having your bank account out there and then having somebody set it on fire. So it's a big financial risk to woodlot owners to have, you know, anything happen.
Doucette says there is no insurance provision for woodlot owners when it comes to forest fires. Rick Doucette says once the fires finally fizzle out, it would be a good time for forestry stakeholders to sit down and reevaluate the province's forest plan, something he says hasn't been done since 2014. Todd?
Sounds like it's time. Avery McRae in St. John. Thank you, Avery. A man has been arrested and charged with arson after an incident last week in Fall River, just outside Halifax. RCMP arrested 29-year-old Nicholas David Kelly of Lyons Brook yesterday. Last Wednesday, firefighters put out a fire in the community. A large spool of wire was burning next to a building. An investigation found the fire was intentionally set. This image made public of the suspect led to the arrest. Kelly faces several charges, including arson, and returns to court on Thursday. There's a live look at the South Shore of Nova Scotia right now. White Point Beach, where it's currently 17 degrees. We bring in Kayla Mitchell for the first time tonight to take a look at the forecast, and certainly a beautiful blue sky night there.
Yeah, it looks like somebody was out playing soccer as well just in front of the beach there. It'd be a great evening for that, great evening for sports in general in the Maritimes because temperatures are a little bit more comfortable. It's probably good news as well for those crews still combating and trying to contain wildfires in and around the region. At this hour, they're mostly around the high teens and low 20s, what isn't such great news is the fact that the air is still so dry, though. Taking a look at relative humidity values, they're mostly in the range of around 20 to 50%. Very little moisture out there, despite the fact that temperatures are cooler. Taking a look at the winds, for most areas, they were lighter today, the exception being parts of Prince Edward Island and areas of Cape Breton, which were still a little bit more on the blustery side. The wind conditions there, and they still include a few gusts between 30 and 50 kilometers per hour. They'll continue to get lighter as we make our way through tonight. And tomorrow's winds across the Maritime region relatively light, a little bit variable in direction. Taking a look at things on radar and satellite, we were underneath high pressure for today. Now it's starting to give way to a little bit of cloudiness for tonight. Expecting to turn over to partly cloudy conditions by the time we reach and move past midnight. Very low chance of a couple spotty showers up around the northwestern corner of New Brunswick. And then as we take a look down towards the south, we of course have Hurricane Arson. Now it decreased in intensity from Category 4 to Category 2 hurricane over the last 24 hours, but it's a very large storm system. I mean, even if we discount some of the far-reaching outflow cloud, which extends all the way down to the Caribbean, I mean, this storm system pretty much has a diameter now of over 1,000 kilometers across and is producing a tremendous amount of wave action. There's going to be some issues with those waves around parts of the eastern seaboard of the U.S. And then, of course, Todd, we're watching for an increase in waves coming up at the end of this week, and I'll talk more about that later on.
And those winds, how they might affect the forest fires as well. We'll talk about that in about 15 minutes. Thank you, Galen. It's overtime for a Halifax soccer stadium. We were expecting City Council to vote on a proposal to build a permanent facility on the Wanderers ground in the city, but Council took it behind closed doors. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness joins us live from City Hall in downtown Halifax. And Jonathan, pardon the pun, but this thing keeps getting kicked around. What happened today?
Well, it has been that, Todd, certainly, but the redevelopment of the Wanderers grounds actually took a bit of a step forward today. With a 12-4 vote late this afternoon, Halifax City Council approved a motion that directs staff to come up with a report on the best approach to possibly build a new multi-use stadium on the Wanderers ground site. Now, councillors didn't pass the motion without some serious concerns, one being the location, saying too much is trying to be shoehorned into a small area with the Bengal Lancers Riding Club, Wanderers Lawn Bowling Club, and municipal staff all using that space. Now, the current tenants include the Halifax Wanderers and Halifax Tides. The two professional soccer teams are asking that any new stadium have seating for 8,500 fans. Now, an amendment was added to the motion asking staff to provide an economic impact report when they do come back to council. This motion was to identify projects for the Wanderers ground site solely and not other locations, Todd, and it was not a decision to build the stadium, just to move the process forward. And should that happen, they're hoping to break ground by 2029. Todd.
All right, so ways out anyway. Okay, John, last night you reported on a plan to close nearby Argyle Street permanently. Did that come up in council?
Well, it didn't. It is on the agenda, Todd, the rather lengthy agenda they have to go through today. So it is further down, and it's probably going to be discussed in City Hall here behind me later tonight.
Okay, so lots for us to chew on in the next few hours. Thank you, John McGuinness at City Hall in Grand Parade. In that same spot where John is right now, this morning, more than 100 protesters gathered. They want the Davis Cup tennis match slated for Halifax next month to be canceled. In a little more than 2 weeks, Israel will play Team Canada in Halifax to determine which country will advance the 2026 qualifying round. Protesters are demanding the match be canceled because of Israel's role in the Gaza war.
Today, the community has gathered to send their objection to the Davis Cup. So this is a tennis match that is scheduled to be played in September at the Scotia Centre between Canada and Israel. And as Israel is currently committing genocide, we strongly oppose Halifax supporting this match at this time.
I don't think it's appropriate to put a sports competition hostage to any political idea. If it were, there are many wars around the world, and if we had every country sending representatives to come and say this country shouldn't be represented, that country shouldn't be represented, we wouldn't have any sportsmanship.
Now, the International Tennis Federation has said publicly it is aware of the complex situation surrounding the match, but has no plans to cancel or exclude Israel from the event. The Davis Cup is the premier international team tournament in men's tennis, often called the World Cup of Tennis, and that event is scheduled in the city for September.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
New Brunswick's Liberal government vowed to balance the books if elected. It hasn't been a year, and that promise seems unlikely. New numbers show the province's deficit is growing. CTV's Nick Moore has the numbers.
The New Brunswick government's deficit for 2025-26 is now projected to be $668.7 million. That is about $120 million more than what was projected 5 months ago. Total revenue is now pegged to come in about $60 million lower than expected, with total expenses being $60 million higher than expected.
Now, obviously, in the last 9 months, the last year, things have changed. The revenues are coming in like they were the last 6 years.
Finance Minister Renee Legacy says the revenue shortfall is largely due to a reduction in federal conditional grants, while higher expenses are the result of more spending in health and social development.
Everybody is aware that we can't continue with this growth in expenses. We need to find different ways of doing things. There's just not the ability of the province to sustain it at this rate.
They simply set the budget this year at the same level the budget was set last year. Rather than reflecting what actually was spent last year in those areas where you can't cut corners, like child welfare.
I'd like to start off by addressing the elephant in the room.
Legacy presented the provincial budget in March with projected budget deficits for all 4 years of the Liberal mandate, this after promising during last year's election campaign to balance the budget each year.
This is a huge promise. It's just not something that you weigh off and say, well, we'll try to do better next time. And then stating today, the finance minister, that he would love to get back to a balanced budget. But the question is, when?
Legacy did not provide a timeline today.
We're not just going out there and putting out money and thinking that deficits are acceptable. We are trying to get back to surplus.
To date, the province says its $50 million fund to provide support during the U.S. trade war has only been dipped into one time to provide an earlier start in the season for the Campobello Island ferry, costing about $186,000. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
The province of Nova Scotia wants to know if commuter rail could solve Halifax's traffic woes. The province officially put out a call for consultants today to study the idea of a passenger rail service. CTV late anchor Bruce Frisco has been looking into this. He joins us with more. Bruce, this has been floated for years now. Will Haligonians be riding the rails?
I wouldn't think that's going to happen anytime particularly soon, Todd. This is, as you say, literally the first step in studying all the options. But as you say, the dream of setting up kind of a big city rail system has been talked about many times by many people over the years. And the idea certainly hits home with anybody who's been stuck in rush hour traffic. In launching the study today, the Public Works Minister said, and I'm quoting here, well, a project like this could be transformative. It's also incredibly complex. Fred Tilley adding the study will ensure that any decisions related to rail in the province are researched, evidence-based, and, quote, tailored for Nova Scotians. System was also identified as a key action in the city's regional transportation plan and the province's response. So this is an occasion where both levels of government seem to be on the same page, at least for now. Various mayoral and council candidates have campaigned on the idea over the years, and Tim Houston brought it up during the last provincial election. Estimated duration of the contract, 2 years, which is too long, according to the province's NDP. They say Halifax traffic is among the worst in the country, and more immediate work needs to happen to get people moving faster and more efficiently right now. Paul Wozni, the MLA, says commuters sitting in gridlock can't wait any longer for another study about a project that may or may not happen. So again, the request for consultants issued today closes in a little less than a month. I was unable to locate an actual cost today, and that is because apparently they haven't put one on it yet. The government says in an email details on cost will be released once the procurement process has been completed. In the meantime, Todd, it looks like I wouldn't be rushing out to buy train tickets anytime particularly soon.
All right, so maybe we file this one under the same page as electric ferries.
That's right.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
see. Bruce Frisco in the news center tonight, and of course you'll have your late update at 11:30. With the strike over and Air Canada flights beginning to move again, Maritimers with tickets are nervously waiting to see if their flights will take off. CTV's Hafsa Arif is at the airport again tonight.
Frustration
exhaustion, and anger. It all boiled over at the Air Canada check-in counter, even after the word spread of a tentative deal. Lines stretched for hours, some passengers lucky enough to get rebooked on a flight this evening.
I get to go home tonight. I got on a flight. You did? Yeah, 8:50 I board, so I'm feeling good.
But others still stuck, waiting. The Halifax Airport Authority says there are Air Canada planes on the tarmac, but even with service resuming, they're warning passengers to get confirmation.
This time we can't confirm exactly which flights may or may not be going ahead. They're working through that now diligently.
Hours later, the line moved a little, but not enough for many still hoping to get home. Those who saw the strike coming and booked elsewhere say they're relieved.
I fortunately had the thought on Thursday I needed to book another flight, so I booked it with Flair.
But it came with its challenges, especially since others had the same idea, causing her to extend her stay by a few days.
The only thing they're offering is a refund on the unused portion of my trip, which is approximately $140, which doesn't even begin to pay for hotels, meals, the extra, well, just the flight alone.
As for the deal, details haven't been released yet, but strikers say one thing is clear: they won't be working for free anymore.
A quote that's just been rippling across the country with the flight attendants, and that is, unpaid work is over. And just saying those words is just such an incredible relief.
Todd, flights heading west from this airport are fully booked. Travelers tell me they're being told to try airports in either Fredericton or Sydney, where seats are still available, to get to their destination. Todd?
All right, Hafsa back at Halifax Stanfield International this evening. We'll take our first break of the night. Still to come, partly cloudy and cool conditions. Kaylin has the full forecast, but next, a risky time.
To be on the ground, you know, it's very chaotic.
A look at just how dangerous one Maritime forest fire has been. That's after the break. The largest of the New Brunswick forest fires, the Miramichi wildfire, is classified as contained. No one has been killed, no homes destroyed, and that is because of a combination of hard work and, yes, some luck. CTV's Derek Haggett has more from Miramichi.
It's been a trying and exhausting 2 weeks for firefighters around New Brunswick.
To be on the ground, you know, it's very chaotic.
1 week ago, temperatures in parts of the province, including Miramichi, hovered around 40 degrees, making a difficult situation even harder. This wildlife science officer and operations chief with the Department of Natural Resources spoke about the heat and the dry conditions in Miramichi today.
We did have 5 to 6 people that suffered some heat exhaustion and heat stroke. It's a time when we really need to slow down our operations and really take care of people's well-being.
There are 31 active wildfires burning in the province, 4 of them out of control. But the Oldfield Road fire north of Miramichi, a massive blaze that was a major concern, has been contained. A relief to those who live there.
Feeling a lot better with that rain we had recently. Really helped, and the cool weather. And thanks to the good work of the firefighters, they got it contained, and things are looking more positive.
The juggling act of keeping firefighters fed, hydrated, and well-rested has been a challenge. So too are the sun-up to sundown days on the line, trying to keep people safe and homes standing.
But everybody is going on 2+ weeks of full-on firefighting, so it's definitely in our minds.
Their efforts very much appreciated by New Brunswickers. Goddard says Sunday's rain around the province was obviously welcome, but it wasn't nearly enough. He says what's really needed is over 60 millimeters of rain to make a difference with the fires. Todd.
All right, thank you, Derek, in Miramichi this evening. And a reminder, for more on the wildfire situation in the Maritimes and our latest updates, you can find all of that at our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Okay, still to come, Kayla Mitchell has details of the weather still ahead for the week and talk about some conditions that could impact the forest fires around here. He's up next. There's another shot of the south shore of Nova Scotia. This is Somerville. I believe that's the quarter deck. Yeah, the quarter deck. Nice hotel there.
That's beautiful.
Along the shore. Beautiful blue skies. Now, we're going to talk about conditions with Aaron. This will be good news for surfers. Not so good news for folks fighting those fires.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so coming up Friday into Saturday, there is going to be an increase in the wave action around the coastal areas of Atlantic Nova Scotia. Now, my fine print is that increase in wave action can be dangerous because some of those near coastal breaking waves could actually be up between 6 and 10 feet, and there also could be an increase in rip currents as well.
And of course, the winds that come with it.
Yeah, now the winds on Friday look like they'll be out of the northeast and picking up in the vicinity of the southwest of Nova Scotia to maybe include some gusts of 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. So blustery again. That, of course, is not great news for the ongoing wildfire situations. I mean, if we didn't have wildfires, we weren't so dry, those type of winds really wouldn't be much of an issue for us, but they are picking up so far in the forecast to be a little bit blustery. Now, Aaron is currently a Category 2 hurricane. As we talked about earlier, though, it has become a much larger storm system. The overall track hasn't changed too much. It's going to be taking a path up between the coastlines of areas like the Carolinas and Bermuda, and then taking a sharp turn off towards the northeast, so holding far to the south and the east and the Maritimes, while most of the associated weather will be well offshore, including rain, which we could have used if we'd caught some of the outskirts of the rain with this weather system, but that doesn't look like it is likely. Some of the outermost marine areas are going to have to be careful about some dangerous marine conditions developing Friday into Saturday. Could be some storm force, some tropical storm force winds, dangerous sea state as well. But back to the waves, they're going to become dangerous around some of the outermost islands in the Carolinas on Thursday, and they're actually underneath the tropical storm warning and even a storm surge warning. The National Hurricane Center is saying that water levels could come up 2 to 4 feet in areas that are otherwise typically dry because of the large waves from the storm. Now, things don't look like they're going to be quite that bad here for Nova Scotia, but on Friday, an increase in the waves, and that looks like it's going to be around for Saturday. As I mentioned, some of the near coastal waves breaking could break between around 6 and 10 feet, talking about significant wave height. Those type of conditions should be improving as we move through Sunday and into Monday of next week. Weather conditions for tonight around the Maritimes, partly cloudy conditions expected. Tomorrow, a little bit more cloud cover around. We'll call it cloudy periods for New Brunswick, much of Nova Scotia, a bit more of a fair weather mix of sun and cloud for Prince Edward Island. Also in the afternoon, it looks like eastern areas of New Brunswick and eastern areas of Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton, could get into some more extended sunny breaks. Partly cloudy conditions expected Wednesday evening and night. Winds for tomorrow will decrease. They're going to be variable in direction around the Maritimes, but mostly sustained between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour, so not expecting much in the way of issues with the winds on Wednesday. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight, mostly high single digits and low teens, so a little bit of the cooler side for mid-August. No frost advisories out, though, for tonight because of the increase in cloud cover. Highs in the forecast for tomorrow for northern areas of New Brunswick between 20 and 23 degrees, including 23 at Miramichi and 22 at Grand Falls, and mostly low 20s down through central and southern parts of the province. 21 around Campobello and St. John, 23 at Fredericton, and 21 at Moncton. For Prince Edward Island for tomorrow, high temperatures near 21 for O'Leary, Summerside, Cavendish, Charlottetown, then 20 for Montague and 19 at Surrey. For Cape Breton, 19 for Shettycamp and 20 for Sydney and Inverness, 22 near Bedeck and Port Hawkesbury, the North Shore of Nova Scotia, New Glasgow, Antigonish, most highs around 21, 22 degrees on the eastern shore, low 20s as well. 22 for Amherst and Truro for tomorrow. 21 for the city centers, Halifax and Dartmouth. 20 at Lunenburg. 20 to 21 degrees heading down the south shore in the southwest coastal areas, close to 19, and 23 degrees for the Annapolis Valley. Taking a look at the 7-day outlook for New Brunswick, conditions remaining relatively dry over the next several days. The next chance, higher chance for the Maritimes to see some widespread rain showers Monday of next week, as a cold front looks like it's going to be moving in out of the west. After that, Tuesday, back to a mix of sun and cloud. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, a mix of sun and cloud on Thursday. Aaron is passing offshore that Friday, Saturday time frame. Again, be careful about that increased wave action on the coast. Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud. rain or showers on Monday, and then a mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday of next week. And for Prince Edward Island, coming up on Thursday, mostly sunny, highs near 23, 21 degrees on Friday with a mix of sun and cloud, 23 on Saturday, up to 25 degrees on Sunday, and then looking at that higher chance of showers at the start of next week, Todd.
All right, thank you, Kalen. We'll see you at the end of the show. Next, we'll talk about what small businesses think about the state of the economy, what the future might look like for them. Stay with us. Welcome back on this Tuesday night. Confidence in the economy among small business owners has plunged. That's according to the 4th Annual Confidence Index. It paints a rather troubling picture of the state of the majority of businesses in our country. Danish Youssef is CEO and founder of Zensurance, which commissioned the poll, year 4 that they have done that. It is nice to see you, Mr. Youssef. You surveyed 1,000 small business owners. Just 58% were optimistic about the economy. That's it's still a majority, but what does that tell you?
Hi, Todd. Thanks for having me. It is our 4th survey at Zensurance.com. We serve 500,000 customers across the country over the life of the business. And we like to do the survey just to better understand what our customers are feeling. And you're right, it's the most negative of the 4 surveys we've run. Last year, I think it was 70% were optimistic. It's now down 12 points to 58%. Unfortunate, but definitely understandable given the economic environment, inflationary trends, and everything that's happening. So definitely see that as a negative trend that we expected, but we're not happy about.
Yeah. What made the difference? Why is it lower this year, do you think, than last year?
Our view is inflationary trends. There's lots of economic uncertainty, there's job losses, high youth unemployment. There's so many negative trends just in the economy. And since 98% or so of businesses in the country, in pretty much any country, is small business, they feel it. And so if the economy is not doing well, small businesses will absolutely feel it, and that's what the survey shows.
We often hear that small businesses are the backbone of this country and its economy. Clearly, they're struggling. What did they tell you?
So it's rising costs are their number one concern. I think it was 43% said rising costs, which is no surprise. The inflationary trends, both on labor and product, is causing that. Revenue growth absolutely collapsed in prior years. Up to 70–80% of survey respondents said that they're experiencing solid revenue growth. This time it was under 4%. So not only are costs rising, but revenue growth expectations are shrinking. Uncertainty is causing worries for them. They cited 35% cited just the uncertainty meant either they can't invest or they can't sign a lease just because they don't know what the future of the business holds. And so when you put all of that together, it does paint a relatively negative picture. However, on the flip side, more than half, about 52%, said, you know, they're holding steady. Yes, there are concerns, but they're okay. They're hanging in there. And this is consistent with prior years. And we also see a resilient mindset where nearly 4 in 10 are actively exploring new markets for sales. So it's not that they're just sitting back and taking it. No, they're proactively taking action and trying to manage it.
Danish, we've heard this a lot in our reporting lately, hanging in there. It's a tough space to be if you're running a business. If they're doing just that and just getting by, obviously they're looking at ways of curbing expenses. What did you hear about that? How are they handling that?
Yeah, so of course, our survey did ask around insurance buying trends, and it is a worrying trend for us that we see more and more people are as part of their cost management strategy looking at insurance. We've ourselves seen an uptick in businesses looking to cancel coverage or reduce coverage. And our survey showed the same, that people are looking at insurance as a way of saving insurance. Now, naturally, I would say that that's a pretty risky move because given the uncertain economic times, your financial cushion is lower. So if something were to happen, you have fewer resources with which to bounce back up. Right. So ironically, I would say now is the time to probably buy more insurance because you have less cushion from elsewhere.
In your report, you call micro businesses, quote, the real economy. What are micro businesses, and why do you say they're so important?
So if you look at Stats Canada and the way they report it, they have a separate category for zero employee businesses, and I think it's 1.7 million out of a total of somewhere in the range of 4 million total businesses. So when you look at 0 employee and 1 to 5 employee, that's the vast majority of businesses out there. So that'll be your bakery down the street, it'll be your carpenter, it'll be your paralegal. So much of what happens in the economy are from these businesses. And so if they're not doing well, everybody feels it.
It's fascinating report, index, the fourth now, so you're getting, you're really getting a body of responses here that we can, look from year to year. We'll have you back next year. We'll be interested to see if those numbers come up. Danish Yusuf with Zensurance, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you for including me.
We'll take a time out. We'll be back with much more of your local news after this. To health headlines now, and Canadian provinces have different measles vaccine schedules. So is it time to harmonize them? CTV's Jesse Thomas takes a look at that in tonight's edition of The Lifeline.
Each Canadian province and territory sets its own vaccine schedule, which is why the second measles shot may come at 18 months in some places and between 4 and 6 years in others. It raises the question, should vaccine schedules be harmonized? The Canadian Pediatric Society has pushed for a harmonized schedule since 1997. And now, with nearly 5,000 measles cases across Canada, public health officials are taking a closer look at a harmonized schedule as they worry confusion and vaccine skepticism are driving down childhood immunization rates, threatening to undo the country's measles elimination status. Parents are being warned about AI chatbots after a report revealed some were allowed to have a romantic or sensual conversation with children. Media Smarts, a digital media and research organization, says kids are more likely to trust AI, share personal information, and be exposed to misinformation. They advise parents to limit risks by turning off location, camera, and microphone access and disabling chat history, and exploring AI tools together while reminding kids that AI isn't a real friend. Meta has since removed policies allowing chatbots to flirt or engage in romantic wordplay or roleplay with children. Reporting for The Lifeline, I'm Jesse Thomas.
Tonight on the scene, there is no shortage of festivals in our region this summer. As Katie Kelly shows us, Vibrancy Fest lights up Halifax's Citadel Hill Friday and Saturday night, turning the landmark into a two-night celebration of electric music.
Every day at noon, you'll hear the boom of a cannon from the Halifax Citadel, one of the city's most visited landmarks. But this weekend, the fort will sound a little different as the Vibrancy Festival returns for its 4th year.
What an iconic venue right in the middle of the city. We're so lucky and so fortunate to be able to do it here. And there's so much space and it sounds great. Another added bonus is because there's walls, we're actually able to go a little later than if we were to have it outdoors, like say on the Garrison Grounds. So the music goes till 1:30 at night. It's like a proper electronic music experience.
Halifax DJ and producer Cloverdale will perform on Friday night.
So traditionally I've been DJing, but lately I've been doing a live show, so I have synthesizers and drum machines, and I have a whole video set that goes along with it, so all the visuals and lighting are all kind of teamed up.
It's built around his latest record.
And the album listens like sort of like a concept album, so it listens like as one continuous 45-minute piece of music. And it's called Channel 303, which is sort of a mythical make-believe TV station that I've sort of created in my mind a little bit. And so yeah, there's a lot of little like jingles and TV commercials and little bits and bobs in there. But it all is able to perform live, and so it's kind of been a cool way to do a whole show, an album, all kind of mixed into one.
The festival lineup features international heavy hitters in house and techno, from legends to rising stars.
We got Hunter and Omnom, both like really like new school house acts that are killing it right now. We have Todd Edwards on Friday as well, who's one of like the pioneers of UK garage. He has some tracks with Daft Punk and really a legend in the scene. And then Saturday's more our techno-leaning day. So we have Juan Atkins, who's actually one of the originators of Detroit techno music. He is called like the godfather of techno, which is really, really cool. And then we have Avalon Emerson, Hiroko Yamamura. It's going to be a really, really jam-packed, diverse night of house and techno.
But for Cloverdale, this festival is about more than just the music. It's about community.
Everyone there is supporting each other and encouraging everyone to be themselves and to let loose and dance, and it really is just a space of positive energy and love, and it's so much fun.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Taking a look at the markets, it was another flat day for the Dow Jones in New York. In this country, inflation eased last month, coming in under 2%. Marilla Fernandez has details about that.
The Consumer Price Index rose 1.7% year over year in July. That's a drop from the 1.9% increase in June. Inflation cooled with the help of a 16% drop in the price of gas. But Canadians did pay more for groceries last month. The price of coffee spiked 28%, and sweet treats jumped almost 12% because cocoa beans cost more. Fresh grapes went up 30%. A down day overall in the markets. The Canadian dollar is at 72.12. West Texas Intermediate down almost $1 to 61.77. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it down under $50 a barrel. And the TSX dropped 98 points, ending the day at 27,823. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Time for the wake-up weather now with Kaylin. And the last couple of mornings, Kaylin, feeling rather fresh in comparison to what we were dealing with.
Yeah, that's right. And tomorrow morning will be another one like it, as the overnight low temperatures for many parts of the Maritimes will be down into the high single digits and low teens tonight. Let's take a look at a viewer picture for tonight. A beautiful sunset shot coming in from New Edinburgh in the southwest of Nova Scotia, overlooking here St. Mary's Bay. I want to thank Michael Guzzi so much for sharing that picture. And for New Edinburgh tomorrow, cloudy periods with occasional sunny breaks and high temperature that'll be near 19 degrees. Day planner for tomorrow, start of the day a little bit cloudier tomorrow morning compared to the past couple of mornings, and we have those morning temperatures high single digits and low teens. Moving into the afternoon, mix of sun and cloud around the region, maybe a bit more of a 50-50 split between sun and cloud around eastern areas New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and eastern areas of Nova Scotia including Cape Breton, and more cloudy with occasional sunny breaks in the southwest of New Brunswick and much of mainland Nova Scotia. High temperatures tomorrow mostly expected to be in the high teens and the low 20s. Winds will be variable in direction, and they'll be sustained between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour. And for the most part, Thursday's weather conditions looking very similar. So looking at some rather calm conditions here in the Maritimes next couple of days. Let's find out what's coming up tomorrow on CTV Morning Live.
Wednesday on CTV Morning Live, healthy treats and tasty eats.
Yes, our friend and registered dietitian Lori Barker-Jackman joins us on the show with a recipe for no-bake granola bars.
News, weather, and more. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live, Wednesday.
And that will do it for us tonight. That is our look at the day here at home. Don't forget, you can get updates anytime at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Bruce Frisco has our late newscast at 11:30 after CTV National. I'm Todd Battis. Hope to see you right back here tomorrow at 6. Till then, have a good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast.